It is now my honor to introduce Provost James H. Garrett, Jr. Provost, it is an honor to see that the Voluntary Local Review has inspired Carnegie Mellon University's Voluntary Local Review, our University Review, sorry. Thank you so much for joining us today. The floor is yours, Provost.
Thank you for that introduction, Commissioner Abby Wardina, and good afternoon to all of you. I want to start by thanking the Brookings Institution and the United Nations Foundation for their leadership on this agenda and for the opportunity to be with you today. A year ago, at this event in New York, Carnegie Mellon committed to conducting the world's first voluntary university review and to come back this year to share our findings, which we released publicly this morning. As Provost and Chief Academic Officer of Carnegie Mellon, my job is to oversee the academic affairs of the university and to define and implement the academic priorities that shape its mission. One of my first priorities as Provost has been to center values for equity and inclusion into our mission, language, and climate. When I announced the launch of the Sustainability Initiative during the UN General Assembly last year, it was with the understanding that sustainability goes beyond environmental topics to include critical issues of equity and inclusion. The global pandemic has exposed the inequities that characterize so many communities and underscore the importance of engaging in the development of communities across the globe so that no one is left behind. To advance the global goals at Carnegie Mellon, I created a Sustainability Initiative Steering Committee and Advisory Council made up of students, faculty, and staff. A unique contribution for universities is that we're educating many young people who will carry forward our mission. So incorporating the global goals now will help ensure they are prepared to address the world's greatest challenges. I'm pleased to share with you today details of our first VUR and invite you to go to our website to look at the full report. Countries have been reporting on their progress on global goals since 2016. New York City sparked the movement with its voluntary local review in 2018, and local governments continue to innovate. Los Angeles and Pittsburgh have demonstrated leadership by working with university students, including some from Carnegie Mellon, in their review process. And shortly, we'll hear about exciting work that Hawaii is doing at the state level. Voluntary reviews are how the world is communicating about the global goals. Carnegie Mellon's voluntary university review demonstrates that universities are also a critical partner in achieving these 17 ambitious goals by 2030. Through our VUR, we found that Carnegie Mellon has activities ongoing in all of the global goals across 3 mission categories of education, research, and practice. And these activities are incredibly diverse. Across education, research, and practice, activities related to Goal 4, quality education, and Goal 8, decent work and economic growth, were most numerous, which is not surprising for an institution of higher education that employs many people. Activities related to Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities, also were identified abundantly, reflecting our presence and focus in a city across education, research, and practice. Efforts to protect and safeguard the world's cultural and natural heritage are also addressed by Goal 11, and Carnegie Mellon's College of Fine Arts bolsters the number of activities under this goal. While CMU is the first university in the world to conduct a VUR, our aim is not to be the only one. Our hope is that it will spark action at other institutions of higher education. We recognize that this initial VUR is a starting point. And as with any research, it is an iterative learning process and we welcome engagement. And as part of our process, we conducted a virtual 17 rooms event in May. This event, created by the Brookings Institution and the Rockefeller Foundation, was helpful in learning about initiatives that aren't always captured on paper and identified connections with different parts of the university. Over the next academic year, we intend to deepen the analysis of the global goals and incorporate feedback mechanisms to validate initial findings. This will inform future efforts to establish partnerships within and beyond the university to help achieve the global goals. For other American universities interested in doing something similar, we found it useful to talk to colleagues working in local government, nonprofit organizations, and the private sector. Through the process of engaging our community and educating them about the global goals, we can more effectively work together to achieve them. In closing, I'd like to thank the hundreds of students, faculty, and staff who engaged in Carnegie Mellon's VUR process, and in particular, the Sustainability Initiative Steering Committee and Advisory Council for their leadership. Thank you again for the opportunity to be with you today as we share the release of our VUR.